Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is the second class of the Musunif of Imam Ibn Abi Shaybah. Ibn Abi Shaybah, rahimahullah ta'ala. And we are still with the chapter of the book of marriage, just to say, the book of marriage. So the book of marriage means he's going to talk about things related to marriage. When you hear the book of, that means the discussion of. When you hear the book of, that means the discussion of. And if it's marriage, then it's going to be everything relevant to marriage. If it's divorce, then that's going to be everything relevant to marriage. So here, kitab, replace kitab with the discussion of. And what's the discussion? Yani az-zawaj, marriage. Then bab, normally translate that this chapter means subtitle, because the discussion is big, but you have subtitles underneath that broader discussion. So the broad subject is kitab so and so, and the subtitle is bab so and so, which they call chapter. So this is where we started in the book of the Imam Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah. Abi Bakr is his name, Ibn Abi Shaybah. And this is one of the ulama, one of the scholars of the past who Imam Muslim narrates. So when you hear Imam Muslim in his book, quoting Qala Imam Muslim, Hadathana Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah, he's talking about this shit. That whatever Imam Muslim got that he collected about the Prophet, he didn't meet the Prophet, Imam Muslim. So we had to get it from somebody. Who was one of his main teachers and scholars? Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah. We also said that these people, they're from the three generations of the Muslims. The first three generations of the Muslims. And the Prophet mentioned in authentic hadith, Khayr al-Nas, Qarni, Khayr al-Nas, the best people, Qarni, my generation. Then he said, Thumma ladina yalunahum, those who come after my generation, Thumma ladina yalunahum, then those who come after that generation. So the first generation includes the companions. They're with the Prophet. Second generation is called Tabi'in. Tabi', those who follow. Tabi'in, the followers of the companions. Then you have the third generation, Itba' Tabi'in. So the word Itba' means to follow. Tabi'in, a group of people doing the following. These are the three generations that Allah mentioned in the Quran when He said, As-sabiquna awwalun. Those people that came before you from the early Muslims. Min al-muhajirina, from the people who left Mecca, wal Ansar, and the people of Medina. Muhajirin, those who left their homes. Ansar, from the word Nasara, to help, to assist. Those are the people of Medina. And then Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَعُوهُمْ. Hear the word taba'a, like we say tabi', tabi'in. Allah mentioned وَالَّذِينَ, and those taba'ahum, who follow them. So here Allah is praising the early Muslims, the first generation, which includes the companions. Those who followed the companions, that's the tabi'in. And then the itba', the third generation, those who follow the tabi'in. And when we say follow, this also means those people followed Islam the way that it was given to the companions, but they didn't meet the Prophet. So the term tabi'in is indicative of people that met the companions, but they never met the Messenger. And the term itba', tabi'in, is indicative of those who met the students and the people that met the companions, called the tabi'in, because they followed the companions. But these itba' tabi'in didn't meet the companions. They met the students, the followers of the companions. These are the three generations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ, those who Allah mentioned who follows those through generations. And then Allah said, Radiyallahu anhum, that Allah is pleased with them, Radu anhu, and they were pleased with Allah. So you can say Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu for all of them, be it companion, tabi'in, itba tabi'in, while most people just say Radiyallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, Radiyallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, Radiyallahu anhum, meaning the companions, but they normally don't say that for the tabi'in. They normally don't say that for Imam Malik. They normally don't say that for Abi Hanifa, who they're tabi'in. They say rahimahullah. But you can say, according to this ayat, radiyallahu anhu for Imam Malik, radiyallahu anhu for Imam Abi Hanifa, radiyallahu anhu, you could say that for the likes of Imam Ibn Abi Shaybah, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. You also said that from the scholars and teachers of Imam Muslim is the brother of Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah. His name is Uthman Ibn Abi Shaybah. Uthman Ibn Abi Shaybah, the brother of Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah. And the difference between the two was that Imam Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah was a great scholar all around, and one of his main fields was hadith, what the Prophet narrated, what he got from those people that he got it from, and he passed it down. While his brother Uthman Ibn Abi Shaybah, his issue was tariq, history, tariq, history. And Imam Muslim narrates on both of them, Abu Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah and Uthman Ibn Abi Shaybah. So each of them have their field, have their collections, have their writings, their ulama, great scholars, and they are part of how the Islam reached the world because of their efforts, and we ask Allah to be pleased with them. Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu.
Amen.
We're taking the explanation of Sheikh Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have so much in my head. I'll remember his name. It'll come to me. I mean, he's from the ulama, of Sham. Now, from the ulama of Sham, we take it from his explanation of this great book, who was from the scholars of our time. So, Imam Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, he says in his collection, Musunif, and Musunif, by the way, this is another way of saying what you compile. While Musnad, you have two words. You have Musunif, which is what you compile. And normally, it's in a category. You go from this to this to this. So, for example, you will go Tahara. That has to do with any type of purification, whether it's bathing, wudu, tayammum, dry ablution, a lady on her menses, a lady after having a baby, whatever. Then you have salat. We deal with all of the salat, the 5 daily prayer. We deal with prayer in the masjid, the prayer of in the day of Eid, the prayer of eclipse, the prayer of fear when you're fighting, the prayer of rain, all of the extra prayer, the night prayer. Then you deal with janazah. This is what Musunif would look like, just like when you deal with the books they call Jami', Sahih Bukhari, Jami'. So the word Jami', to compile. Musunif, to compile. But Musnad is like we say alphabetical order. All of the hadith that Imam Malik narrated, you bring them. And it may start from salat, it may jump to, it may be tahara, it may be buying and selling, it may be an issue of raising children. There's no particular section. It's just what that person, it was recorded that he narrated. That's what's called musnad. Here, Musunif is a compilation. So Sheikh is actually putting these things in a direct order. But we started with Kitab al-Nikah because this is the audio that I found. 300 something videos, this book being read and commented on. So this is where they started. I doubt it if they finished the whole Musunif. It's so like vast, how many volumes. So that's why we're starting at the issue of marriage and not tahara or salat. We took what was available. The Shaykh, he says, Imam Ibn Abi Shaybah, he says, Bab Kitab al-Nikah, the discussion of marriage. Fi tazweej. So tazweej, Kitab al-Nikah fi tazweej. Tazweej means the act of doing that marriage itself. Nikah is the thing you do. Like you say an object, a person's name, a person's place, a description. But zawaj is the action that you do. But tazweej is you actually doing the act of getting married. So the Sheikh is talking about Kitab al-Nikah, the discussion of marriage, tazweej, when a person could get married. وَمَنْ كَانَ يَأْمُرُ بِهِ, and the one that is commanded to do the action. So you have the thing, the action, and the command to do that action. He said, وَمَنْ حُثُّ عَلَيْهِ, and وَمَا حُثُّ عَلَيْهِ, and what would encourage a person to follow through with this act. So the title is marriage, Kitab al-Nikah, fi tazweej, regarding the one who could do it, the one who ya'muru bih, he's commanded to do it, secondly, and ma yuhuthu alayhi, and what would encourage you to go through with the act. So you have the act of marriage, somebody could do it, then you're commanded to do it, and what are the things that will push you to go ahead and do it? That's what he's going to discuss in this chapter that we began last week. The Sheikh, he quotes his Sheikh. Each person that you hear is the Sheikh of Abi Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah. And remember, Abi Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah is one of the shuyukh of Imam Muslim. So, Imam Abi Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, before the hadith, he said, Haddathana Mu'adh ibn Mu'adh. Mu'adh ibn Mu'adh. When they say Haddathana, it means it was said to us. Haddathana could mean it was said to us because the pronoun na means us. But sometimes Haddathana means he said to me, but that person speaking in the plural form. So it said, Imam Abi Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, Haddathana Mu'adh ibn Mu'adh, and Ibn Jurayj. And he got it from Ibn Jurayj. So normally when you hear an, that means you're getting close to the tabi'een, who they're going to narrate on the companion. So that shows you how close Ibn Abi Shaybah was to the tabi'een, where he narrated Haddathana Mu'adh ibn Mu'adh, and then he narrated an Juriyah. So an means he's getting close to the tabi'een who's going to narrate on the Sahaba. An Maymuna Abi Mughallis, and Ibn Abi Najih, and who called it? Ibn Abi Najih is a companion. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Now, this is one of the beauties of studying this book as opposed to just studying Bukhari, Muslim, Abi Dawud. Most of the time, you might not hear about Ibn Abi Najih. He's like an odd Sahaba. His wording is going to be different too than what you normally hear. So it gives you not only information about Tabi'in and companions, but it gives you other wordings that normally you don't hear to kind of accommodate the well-known wordings and narrations. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said it in Abi Najih, Man kana mu'siran. Mu'siran from the word yusran. Mu'siran. Man kana mu'siran. Whoever it's made easy for him. Mu'siran means the one who something is made easy for. And mu'siran with the ayn, who somebody who's made difficult for him. So the Prophet said, Man kana mu'siran. Whoever it's made easy for him. And yankih, to get married. Remember the chapter, before we continue the wording of this hadith, the chapter of marriage, Kitab al-Nikah, what says which, yani, man ya'muru bih, wa man hath, wa ma hath alayh, the subject of marriage, and the one who can do it. And on top of that, he's been commanded, and what will encourage him to follow that command. So here, the first narration that the Imam brings, Ibn Abi Shaybah, shows you the encouragement, shows you who can do it. The Prophet said, Man kana mu'siran, man kana mu'siran. Whoever Allah has made easy for him, and yankih, to get married. Falam yankih, but he doesn't get married. Whoever Allah makes it easy for him. We're going to talk about what is the things that make it easy for you to get married. Prophet says, whoever Allah makes that easy for him, and he doesn't get married, falam yankih. Then the Prophet he said, falaysa minna. Then he's not from amongst us. We mentioned last time that the Prophet said, falaysa minna. Laysa means not. Minna, again, is talking about either us, the body of Muslims, or the Prophet is saying he's not from amongst me, but he's using a plural pronoun. We said many times, you can use a plural pronoun for a single entity, a single individual, a single thing. That's why Allah always uses inna, anzalna, ilayka al-kitaba, indeed we have sent you. But Allah is talking about himself. When something is put in a category of something great, something revered, something that has high status, then you can use that plural pronoun for a single entity. Whether it be your creator, whether it be creation, whether it be male, female, like this. So here the Prophet said, falaysa minna. So it either means the Prophet is saying literally he's not from amongst us, or he's not from amongst me, he didn't follow my sunnah. So here the scholars, they said, and we'll take in the last part, and then we're going to go back to the whole small hadith. The scholars said when the Prophet, whenever he says falaysa minna, they're not from amongst us, or falaysa minni, sometimes he says minni, it's clearly singular, talking about the one who's speaking. Then the Prophet is not saying that person is a non-Muslim. He's not saying that person is a kafir. Just like the Prophet said, in many hadith, the Prophet mentioned, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawm al-akhir. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day. But the Prophet is not saying if you don't do those things, you don't believe in Allah on the last day. He's saying whoever believes in Allah on the last day, this is a characteristic that they should have. And if you don't have that characteristic, then you have daqs fil iman. Your iman has some deficiencies. And not that if you don't do what the Prophet is saying in this narration, whoever believes in Allah on the last day, you're a kafir. Or if the Prophet says, "Man kana yu'minuna billahi wal yawm al-akhir," whoever believes in Allah on the last day, then let him do this. So if you don't do that thing, then that's it. You're a disbeliever. No, that means you're falling short in the actions that are considered actions and characteristics of believers. Likewise, فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا doesn't mean you left Islam. Doesn't mean you are apostate. لَيْسَ بِمَعنَى أَنَّهُ مُرْتَدْ مِنَ الدِّينِ أو أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ أو أَنَّهُ مِنْ مُرْتَدِّينَ. Nah, doesn't mean that. Rather, the scholar said, فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, number one, means what that person did was a major sin. Whenever you see the Prophet say, "They're not from amongst us," or "They're not from amongst me," that means that thing is a major sin. You must make repentance from it. It's punishable by Allah Azza wa Jal. Number two, فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not from me, or فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا means it's blameworthy. The action is blameworthy. So number one, فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, he's not from us. فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not from amongst me. He's not of me. It's a major sin. Major sins are punishable by hellfire. You must make repentance from it. You must feel bad about it. You must leave it, never go back to it. Number two, the wording shows blameworthiness. فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, it's not from us. فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not of me, shows that that person is blameworthy. And number three, they said, فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, he's not from us. فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not of me, meaning that that action, that person opposed the religion. That person opposed the khalif, هو يعني منحرف أو يعني يخالف يعني شريعة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he went astray. That person erred. He went in opposition to the sunnah of the Prophet. Number four, they said bid'ah. Bid'atun. That person, muhdath fid-din. He came with a new thing in the religion. So فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, he's not from us. Or if the Prophet said, فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not of me. Number one, it means that action is a major sin. Requires repentance to leave it, not to go back to it. Number two, it's blameworthy. فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, he's not from us. فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not of me, means you're blameworthy. Number three, it's a statement to show that the person went against the religion. The person went in opposition to the Prophet ﷺ. That person, yanharafu, he erred. He went off the path of guidance. And number four, bid'ah. That person did innovation, yani in the religion, meaning ja bi shay'in jadid. He came with something new. So if you go back, the Prophet said, "Man kana mu'siran, man kana mu'siran." Whoever Allah made for him easy, yani an yankih, to get married. Falam yankih, and he doesn't get married. Falaysa minna. Falaysa minna. He's not from us. Tayyib, the next narration said, Hadathna Ibn Mubarak. Ibn Mubarak mentioned, Yani Ibn Abi Shaybah is quoted from his Shaykh Ibn Mubarak. Ma'bara an Zuhri, and Sa'id ibn Musayyib. Sa'id ibn Musayyib, he's from the Fuqaha Sab'a of Medina, from the 7 great scholars of the Tabi'een of Al-Medina. Sa'id ibn Musayyib. And Sayyid ibn Musayyib, he mentioned from the companion, he mentioned on Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, that the Prophet, Anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Radda ala Uthman. He refused to allow Uthman to avoid marriage for the sake of being, for lack of a better word, engrossed in ibadah. تبتلوا. That is, Uthman wanted to not get married in order to just engross himself in worship, and the Prophet told him no. He said, and Uthman wanted to not marry, and the narration said, وَلَوْ أَذَنَ لَهُ لِلصَّائِمِ. He would have allowed him, then Uthman would have fasted. But it's not preferred for you to abandon marriage when you can, even if you do what the Prophet told you, if you can't get married, if you don't have the ability to fast. So if we stop here and just wrap it up, because we said that Qiyamah is at 10, we'll go at least 10:05, we'll pray. This narration of Uthman, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in a long narration, the things about marriage. حدثنا معاوية Ibn Abi Shaybah is going to quote the next hadith. We're going to mention this, and then we'll make 3 points, and we'll stop at 10:05 and show Tabarak wa the Mu'adhin. Just wait, inshallah. This other narration is very important. حدثنا Abu Muawiyah. Ibn Abi Shaybah said Abu Muawiyah mentioned to him, and Sheikh Abu Muawiyah. عن الأعمش. A'mash was a person who was blind. He was from the scholars of the Tabi'een. And they call him A'mash because A'mash in Arabic means, we call eye boogers. He used to have hole in his eye, because he couldn't see. Couldn't look in the mirror. So let me clean my face. And A'mash, he was blind, was a scholar of hadith, and he was shadid ala man yuhaddithu laysa ala nabi sallam. He was really stern against those who would say the Prophet did and said this, and there was no authenticity for that. And Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, one of the people that Abi Hanifa narrated from. And Alqama, he said, Kuntu amshi ma Abdullah ibn Umar. He said, I was with Alqama, it's a tabi. He said, I was with Ibn Umar. They were on Mina. Kuntu amshi ma Ibn Umar fil Mina. He said, we were walking on Mina. Mina is what? When you're on what? The people just came back from it. Hajj. Yeah. So he said, I was with Ibn Umar. He said, Falaqi ya Uthman. So Ibn Umar start talking with Ibn Umar. He laqiya Uthman. Faqama ma'ahu. He started talking with Uthman standing. So Al-Qam was watching this between Ibn Umar and Uthman. During this time, Uthman is the Khalifa. So then Uthman, he said, Ya Abi Abdurrahman. That's the nickname of Ibn Umar, Abi Abdurrahman. He said, Ala uzawijika. Shall I not marry you? Jariyatan. He said that young girl, la'allaha, that kiruka ba'dama mada, that she may, and this is Arabic like, to dhakiraki ba'dama mada. This could mean that she's going to take the stress away, that she can talk to you and your mind will go back into what you used to remember from this time and that time. Because when you're stressed out, what normally is cloudy?
Your brain?
Your brain, your
conscious.
Your memory. When you're stressed out, you don't remember all the good stuff, this, that. You forget a lot of stuff, you shut down. So Uthman is saying to him, shall I not marry you to one of the young wardens I have? that she could remind you of the stuff that happened of the past, meaning of good. Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, Ibn Umar said, أما كنت ذلك أو قال لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, either I'm going to take you up on that offer because of what you just said, to take me out of this state of being stressed out, or I'm going to do it because the Prophet said to us, alayhi salatu wasalam, Ya ma'shar al-shabab, all you group of young men. So he's going back to when the Prophet said to a group of them standing around, all you young men, and istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. Whoever has the ability from amongst you, then let him marry. Whoever has the ability from amongst you and something monetary, then let him marry. فَإِنَّهُ أَغَضُّ لِلْبَصَرِ, because it will help you not to look at women in a lustful way. It will help you to lure and look away from women. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَعَلَيْهِ بِالصَّوْمِ. But whoever can't and doesn't have the physical and monetary ability to marry, then I command him to fast. فَإِنَّهُ لَهُ وِجَاء. And that's the narration in the Musunif Ibn Abi Shaybah. The long hadith in Sahih Bukhari Muslim, on the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the Prophet added that marrying will also, فَإِنَّهُ أَحْصَنُ لِلْفَرْجِ. It is the thing to keep your privates safe from illegal intercourse. But in this narration of Ibn Umar, he only mentioned the eyes, and then he jumped to, and whoever can't get married, then let him fast, because fast with wijah is like cutting off the like we said, castration. The Prophet used that word to show fasting weaken the desires. But you still have to understand the combination of looking and being married, the combination of being married and saving the private part. So if we go back to the beginning of Kitab Nikah wa Tazweej, man ya'muru, whoever's commanded, yani wa hatha alayha. We're going to stop to pray in 5 minutes, brothers. Be patient. In 5 minutes, 10:05, we'll call the Adhan and come. One of the things that here in the narration is that a person, the Prophet said, if he has the ability. And all of the scholars said ability is the ta'iyah is not by itself, because every youthful person is created with ability. Even these days, a man is considered shaykhun in Arabic, 60 years old. If he's eating right, exercising right, 70, 80, he still can have a desire for women. But his desire is not as strong as people who have, youthfulness and they have strength and vigor. So the Prophet said, whoever from amongst you, they were standing around, the Prophet went to them and said, whoever from amongst you has the ability and one ba'a. Ba'a means something to take care of the woman. Something to take care of the woman. Had it just been a physical ability, erection, strength, hormones, manhood, youthfulness, he would have just said, whoever has the ability to get married. But what are you going to do when you marry a lady and she's hungry? What are you going to do if you marry a lady and she needs clothing? What are you going to do if you marry a lady and you don't have a place to take her where she can live? Well, the Prophet said, one ba'a. One ba'a, yani something that you can take care of the lady with. So here it's very important. Last class we mentioned that Imam Ibn Abi Shaybah is mentioned this narration from the different perspectives of the companions, from the different narrations of the Tabi'een. We normally just hear that one narration in the Bukhari and Muslim, the long version is narrated on the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. This one is the narration of Ibn Umar. This one is the narration of other companions, that normally you don't hear narrated on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it shows you that, as the Prophet had mentioned, that it's a command. When you can, if Allah makes it easy for you, that you're youthful, and even if you want to engross yourself in worship like Uthman, even if you say, well, I'll just fast, because the Prophet did say, whoever can't marry, then let him fast. But you can't take fasting as a choice over marriage, where in this narration, the Prophet said, "Man kana mu'siran an yankih, falam yankih, falaysa minna." Where Allah makes easy for him, meaning he's youthful, he has desires, he has the ability, he has the physical working power to get married. And then, as in the long narration, was ba'a, and he has something, even if it's a little bit. Some people think this means I must have a master's degree. Some people think this means I must have a bachelor's degree. Some people think this means I must have $150,000 in the bank and I own my house and I can't rent. That's not what the Prophet said. Anything that will allow you, bare minimum, to fulfill that obligation of marriage, that's what's considered Allah made it easy for you. And that's when you understand Islam properly. That's when you don't try to follow the Western philosophies that now the Muslims have drank the punch, the Muslims drink the Kool-Aid, and they put all of these things that makes it mu'siran. It makes it difficult for you. When the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man kana mu'siran," whoever Allah mu'siran, whoever Allah made it easy. Whoever Allah made it easy. And yankih, falam yankih, falaysa minna. And we said falaysa minna has 5 things in conclusion. Number 1, it's a major sin. Doesn't mean the person is a non-Muslim or left Islam. Number 2, it's blameworthy. The term falaysa minna, he's not from amongst us. He's not in line with what has been brought to us from our Prophet. Number 3, munharif, the person deviated. He opposed the religion of Islam. Number 4, bid'ah. Bid'ah, that person brought something new in the religion. And this, inshallah wa ta'ala, as the narration of Ibn Umar, when he met Uthman, he said, either I will do it because of what you said, or as the Prophet said to us, whichever from amongst you young men has the ability to marry, then let him marry. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us by the narrations of our Shaykh al-Imam Abi Bakr Ibn Abi Shaybah and his Musunif, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and wafiqna liman yuhibbu Allah wa. Any questions quickly before that? Fadal. Any questions? You can leave it running and think of your question while he's calling the adab.
So you said besides Jazakallah Khair, Shaykh. Besides Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, who else was it?
Uthman ibn Abi Shaybah, his brother is the Shaykh of Imam Muslim as well. His thing is in history, and his brother Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah, his thing was in hadith. Other than inshallah.
You had also mentioned Ibn Umar?
Ibn Umar was in the last narration.
Okay.
Ibn Umar was with Al-Qama on the Mina, walking, and they bumped into the man.
Allahu Akbar.
You can leave it up to the
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Allah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله